The U.S. economy added 73,000 jobs in July. That was less than expected. The unemployment rate came in at 4.2%.
Yeah, well, that was less than expected. We were expecting around 100,000 jobs. Given the past few months, we've had really strong job growth, we thought, but we have massive revisions for May and June, down 275,000 jobs. Those job numbers back in May and June that we thought were so strong, way overstated.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, one of the worst job reports ever in history. And if you didn't hear, both Ford and GM stated that their entire profitability for the last quarter was completely wiped out due to tariffs.
So Ghislaine Maxwell is now being sent as of today, August 1st, to a Texas prison that has hobby shops, arts and crafts, game rooms, no fences. So she can go ahead and, I guess, stay there until, I don't know, the President of the United States decides to pardon her?
You warned everyone about the future under our present president. You said he would prosecute his political enemies. He would cut Medicaid, Medicare. He would ignore court orders. He would alienate our allies. He would give massive tax cuts to the rich. And I know you're not here to say I told you so, but would you like to?
What about beautiful black people? Welcome to Black People Politics Network. I'm Mr. Red. Today we have 3 topics that I want to cover. We're going to talk about the recent job report that came out and how Trump is dealing with this. We're also going to talk about Ghislaine Maxwell and how, this thing with the Epstein thing is getting really, really fishy. All right. So I have some predictions that I want to make about that. And then the last thing I want to talk about, which I thought about making a separate video, but I'm going to talk briefly about it and I might make the video later. But the next thing I want to talk about is Kamala Harris. Kamala said something recently that kind of disturbed me. I'm not mad at her for what she's doing, but she said something that had me just a little disturbed. So I'm probably going to make a separate video on everything going on with Kamala Harris. And I also wanted to make a F around and find out video because I think we can all use it at this point. Let's strap in. Let's get after it.
Well, there it is. One of the worst jobs reports that we have seen for the U.S. economy in a very, very, very long time, and with downward revisions of the past few months. All of that data that they have been bragging about has been a total lie. This is devastating, folks.
The NASDAQ down about 200 going... 73,000 jobs. 73,000 jobs created in the month of July. Number just coming out.
And that's total.
4.2% is the unemployment rate, right in line with expectations. Here are the numbers. For the month of July, jobs came in at 73,000. That was lower than the expectation, which called for 110,000 jobs. The unemployment rate right in step with expectations at 4.2%. Steve Moore, your reaction.
Look, I think this is all a result, this disappointing number is a result of all the turmoil over tariffs and the trade wars.
The weak job data that just came out just tumbled the stock market right in front of your face. And since Donald Trump didn't put a pause on those tariffs that we're starting today, well, they decided they were going to do a sell-off. According to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, only 73,000 jobs were created in the month of July. Just look at the clear difference from last year to this year so far. If you've been out there looking for a job, you know that hiring has come to a complete halt.
You might say, well, that's not that bad, but you got to understand that for the previous 2 months, we were projected over 100,000, 144 and like 110 or something like that. And when those job reports were adjusted, come to find out in those previous 2 months, we actually created less jobs, like 280,000 jobs less. Like that's how big of a difference it was. And so what happened today with Trump is a little disturbing. He did not like the jobs report that came out. It made him look bad. Trump doesn't want to look bad, but we'll come back to that. I want you to put a pin in that right there. But Trump doesn't want to look bad. It's all about the image. And the image he wants is that he's great on the economy. And the truth of the matter is, he is not. This is why some of you all voted for him, because of the economy. You voted for him, not because you're racist or, you have a deep-seated hatred for other people, or you're just mad that other people are doing better than you, or you're just stupid. You didn't vote for him for that reason. You voted because you thought he was going to make your life better and other people's lives worse. Well, let me tell you, Trump knows that this is going to make him look bad with the people who counted on him the most, his own voter demographic. And this scares Trump, because if they realize that their pockets are being taken, that's when you're going to start seeing some real uproar. Unfortunately, it's already too late, MAGA. It's already too late for you all that support Trump.
And we're just hearing from President Trump via Truth Social that he is firing the Commissioner of Labor Statistics. He says effective immediately. This, of course, coming after the jobs report this morning showed lower than expected job growth for the previous month, as well as major downward revisions for the past two. So the president focusing on those revisions in particular in this Truth Social post, saying he's firing Dr. Erica McIntyre for the Commissioner of Labor Statistics because she was a Biden appointee. He says this is the same Bureau of Labor Statistics that overstated the jobs growth in March 2024 by approximately 818,000, and then again right before the 2024 presidential election. We need accurate jobs numbers. Goes on to say, I have directed my team to fire this Biden political appointee immediately. She will be replaced with someone much more competent and qualified.
Him firing the leader of the Board of Labor Statistics or whatever, him firing them is a move that authoritarians tend to make. Do you understand what I'm saying? Authoritarians get rid of people who don't fall in line. And the danger of him firing someone just because he did not like the numbers is that everybody now who needs to do their job and put out the right numbers, to put out the right statistics, are going to be afraid. And so in authoritarian regimes, they put out the propaganda that they want. And if Trump is allowed to do this, if Trump is allowed to continue to just fire people who don't say what he wants to hear, then basically TV and anything that the president says just becomes state media, right? The one thing that you all had a problem with, MSNBC, CNN, all these different shows, except Fox, right? Fox always tells the truth. The Newsmax, they always tell the truth too. But the problems you had with the legacy media, even some people who were Democrats, you had a problem with legacy media as well. The difference is now everyone is scared to speak up against Trump. This is right out of the authoritarian's playbook. You can't get more 1983 than this shit right here. We are living in very dangerous times. And as much as Trump wants to cover up that there's a problem with the economy, people on the streets, we feel it.
These are the numbers, y'all. They can't lie about this. These are the numbers. We are not creating jobs under Donald Trump. And y'all say the economy is booming. We are not adding jobs, y'all. Think about that. 73,000 this month, which is way down the expectation. Only fucking 14,000 jobs in May, 19,000 jobs in June. That's almost, 100,000 jobs in 3 months in the Trump's economy? But boy, how are you gonna spend this?
This disappointing number is a result of all the turmoil over tariffs and the trade wars. And
I want to push back on that. I think this is more about the Federal Reserve. Again, we've got a bifurcated economy. The Fed is they have a regressive approach here, right? They're trying to still clamp down on this economy, but it's not working. It's hurting 70% of the folks out there.
Shut your mouth and your fat ass.
Meeting with the president's personal lawyer, turned number 2 in the DOJ, she's sent to a cushy ass minimum security prison, a person that trafficked young girls, a person that groomed young girls, a person that perpetrated the most heinous acts against children. If this doesn't scream guilty, I don't know what does.
Trump used a lawyer, his personal lawyer, to go through and to try to negotiate things with Ghislaine Maxwell, who happens to be the famous madam of Jeffrey Epstein. And they were supposed to talk to see what she knew about what was going on. They were supposed to be like, okay, we're going to move to have more transparency on this Epstein thing, which, you know, unless you're a fucking fool, then there is no way you believe that Trump was trying to get to the truth. Ghislaine Maxwell was moved from the prison in Florida to a prison in Texas. Now, I believe both were minimum security prisons. The damn prison in Texas don't even have like walls or something. It's like a work camp.
So you won't have no problem with Justin? You shouldn't have a problem, no. If you need anything of any kind,
what do you think is going to happen in that work camp? I'm going to tell you what's about to happen to Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell will soon no longer be serving the sentence that she is. I think they went and got her silence. I think that they didn't move her from Florida to Texas to get the truth. Oh no, you know what they did? They moved her from Florida to Texas because what they're about to do is they're either going to take her out or they're going to take her out of the country. Yes, I believe that Ghislaine Maxwell will either not make it through her 20-year sentence or she is about to get relocated or escape federal prison. I believe that's what's going to happen. Because again, remember what I said earlier, Trump doesn't want to look bad. Trump looks terrible because he's a liar and he's a grifter.
I'm pretty sure he did that shit.
It took for all of this for certain people to wake up. And I will tell you, the majority of MAGA still doesn't care what Trump does. The GOP. Oh, it's filled with those PD3POs, okay? Just coming out the woodworks. These are people in leadership position that like little kids. That's what you're the party of, MAGA. You are the party of P3PO. That's what y'all are. And there's so many of you all coming out being busted.
If you're a Trump supporter at this point, you like underage kids. Yep. And if you're a female, you support the man in your household that does. Or you're protecting your dad. Or your brothers. Yep.
Yeah, there was kids involved, but those kids were 15, 16, 17 years old and getting hefty paychecks while they were there. Not all of them. From what we know, all we know is the hearsay that we've heard. So, you know, it isn't even really worth talking about, you know. But yeah, minors were involved, and that's serious business. But at the same time, we're busting, there's busts going on all over the place. ICE is raiding all these illegals. They're rounding them up, man. It is so trivial and minor compared to all the other battlefronts that we have going on here that, you know, Trump needed to kind of rebuke us a little bit. And I'm glad he did it.
And then the last story of the night that I want to discuss is about Kamala Harris. Now, Kamala has been talking about her book tour, and she recently was on Stephen Colbert's show. But Kamala said something that really disturbed me. I'm not knocking Kamala. You got to understand, you know, she did what she can do, and she didn't get the job, and now she's a private citizen writing books and shit, which what you should be doing. Finding out what you're going to do to make money. But the thing about it is, she, like so many people, thought that there would be Republicans that would stand up to Trump and would not allow Trump to have taken this country to this level of authoritarianism.
How did you fall for that?
She said she was genuinely shocked by it. That is disturbing to me, that you thought that the GOP, Republicans, gave a damn about anything but saving their own ass and power. You thought there was such thing as a principled Republican. There is no way. The fact that people re-elected Donald Trump, right, after 34 felony convictions, after the way he lost over 500,000 lives when COVID hit. Did y'all forget that shit? I didn't, because I lost a goddamn friend. So the fact that Kamala did not see that democracy was going to be on the line. See, because everybody was thinking, hey, it always just fixes itself. And that's not the way democracies work. There was writing on the walls that this was coming. And one of the biggest ones was Project 2025. You're telling me that Republicans did not know what was in Project 2025? You telling me that Republicans had no clue that Trump and his acolytes were going to try to pull what they're pulling right now? And they're not altogether against what Trump is doing. They've always wanted to get rid of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. They've always wanted to privatize Social Security. They've always wanted to do this because everyone in Washington is making money off of running and being in Washington. That's why any Democrat that says, oh, our Republican friends and my friends across the aisle, I'm buddies with some of these people. As soon as I hear Democrats say they're friends with the people that would willingly allow a 34 convicted P3PO to be in office, then I know that those people are part of the same system. Stay strong, stay vigilant, stay revolutionary.